So the Federal Reserve is doing right now what they were doing in the 1930s. Very similar. In the 1930s, they were banning gold and possibly other things too, but mostly gold for 30 or 40 years. They were banning it, trying to keep people away from it. There was a gold prohibition in the United States, and it came right after the Great Depression that started in 1929. There was another Great Depression before that, around 1908 and 1920, 1921. But this one was a little bit different. For major difference is that it was manipulated and engineered by the Federal Reserve and by globalists around that time, and it kicked off a lot of the control that we still have today with welfare and a variety of things. And one of the biggest things that they were doing was banning gold and then hoarding the gold for themselves while saying other people shouldn't hoard it. And currently in 2020, they're saying the same thing, and they're saying you're not going to be able to get cash around December of 2020, around Christmas. A lot of people do that, all kinds of people, including Alex Jones, but other people too. You want to give them a lot of money to your friends and your family, relatives, cousins. You want to give them $100 bills, and they print out new money all the time, and they're saying because there's not a lot of money for some reason, we're not gonna print out more because you guys need money. We're not gonna print out more money to help you guys, even though this is what we do. It's like imagine telling your little baby, because you need more milk, I'm going to stop giving you milk. That's what the Federal Reserve says. And the Federal Reserve started mostly in 1913. That was a big, major part of the rise of what they have. And it's not federal, it's not a reserve, and it's not really a system. I mean, it's not really a bank. And like I said, it's not federal. It's not really in America, even though they have Federal Reserve banks, about 12 different charter banks or so. One of them is like in New York, but the whole system was manipulated and taken overseas to places like in Europe, probably in England. But I mean, it doesn't really matter exactly where they are. You got to understand who they are, understand money, understand the manipulation of Rothschild and the other big dynasties, the other big families out there that have been around. Mostly Rothschilds, one of the probably the biggest. I can't say for certain, but one of the biggest, at least back in the day, as they were rising in the 1700s, 1800s, and it's important to understand what money is and what money isn't. And it's important to have competition against centralization of government. Otherwise, things fall apart. And so the best thing you can do is have assets, have things that hold value. You want a variety of things of different incomes, streams of income, and you want to have some backup plans just in case. So you may want to have some money in your pocket. You may want to have some banks. You may want to have some cryptocurrencies, and you may want to have some things that you can barter with later on, things that you can trade with, whatever you can manage. You want a variety of things just in case. You may want to emphasize 80% on certain things, whether that be work and whether that be things that you have. And so emphasizing on things is good, but you still want to have some backup plans too at the same time, because they're trying to stop people and it's dangerous. And cash is what kills the artificial intelligence or the artificial artificially intelligent tyranny. Caste kills artificial. Let me say that again. Caste kills artificially. I should be reading this. Let me say it again. Caste kills artificially intelligent tyranny because it can't be tracked. When you have money that is on some kind of system, I want to say blockchain, but I don't mean that blockchain's bad necessarily, but the globalists, they use it for bad, and you got to know the difference between what they have with the fiat, with the digital fiat, and cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies can be good, and it's an alternative to fiat, and that's good. And it's very valuable to understand the difference between what they have and the alternative. And there's a lot of different alternatives that people have, and if you don't get on board with it, then you'll miss out. Just like a lot of people missed out in 1929, around that time, and a lot of people just went under. Their businesses went under. You got to be ready and you got to prepare for famines, and we're in the greatest economic depression and recession globally right now than any other time ever, really, in a variety of ways, in a combination of ways. It makes it very dangerous and devastating and scary, but good that people know it and people are preparing. You can be a part of us and be on the right side of history if you want, but you got to act now and you got to buy canned foods and go to infowarsstore.com or whatever website you want to go to. But I would emphasize on that. You go to places, do whatever you can, have a garden and have some guns and have some different streams of income and have some gold, have some coins, have some cryptocurrencies, have some different things. Be ready, be prepared, help each other out, teach each other people things, and have networks. Know your neighbors, know the people that you can rely on when things get really difficult. People are talking about this the other day. I saw a video about it from somebody from like the Ukraine. A woman was talking about it, and she was saying, I can see what is coming because they did this in other countries. The globalists do this, have been doing this for decades, if not centuries. What they do, how they do it. Now they're doing it in America. So you got to be ready. You got to have firearms. You got to have all these different things. You got to be ready. Got to be ready. And you got to do what you can. You got to pass the word on. You got to entice people to be ready, or they won't. But at least you told them, you warned them, and you did your best, and you move on to the next person or move on to the next thing you got to do in your life. So just understand what you need to know and pass it on. That's all you can do.